Welcome everyone to the series of webinar hosted by Facebook Developer Circle Indore. I hope you all are fine in this pandemic situation. And this weekend again we are back with our a new topic that is all about our language. So as you all know, data is the new oil, and in today's time everything is data. As technology is improving day by day, data companies and data collection is increasing. And to bring something useful out of it and something fruitful, we need analysis. So as R is being preferred to be best language for data analysis and data visualization. So we are going to be introduced to this language in this 2 days webinar, today and tomorrow. So we will be guided by Mr. Rahul, founder at DataHouse. He will be with us and giving a great briefings on all about our language. So I would like to invite Mr. Rahul. Hi Rahul.
Hi, Anirudh. Thank you. Hey, guys.
Yeah. So all stages yours now.
All right. Thank you very much, Anirudh, for giving me this opportunity. Hello, everybody. I'm Rahul. I have been working in this data analytics area since 10 years, almost 10 years. I was working with JP Morgan previously in USA, then in Mumbai. And now I have started my own company, DataHouse Solutions Private Limited in Indore itself, since it's my native place. So, yeah. So, see, I started my career as a ETL developer, which is basically the core for data analytics. Because for data analytics, you need a data, right? So the ETL job is to get the data from all the different sources, to integrate the data and do the cleaning of the data, messaging the data, and all, and then delivering the reports, right, on the any business. I mean, on any business intelligence tool. So that was my career starting point, and then slowly I moved towards big data, and then working in R since long time. So today we are going to talk about R. As Anirudh mentioned, that today everything is about data. There are a lot of jobs, lot of work is going on in data analytics area. A lot of businesses, they are emphasizing on data analytics. They are depending on data science for their business growth, right? And there are a lot of tools available. R is widely used, and it has a very big library. It has a lot of packages, functions, and it's like a big community. There is a big community who is doing very good work in R, and they are adding everything, and they are adding many things every day. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, let me share my screen, and I hope I will share something good for you guys today. Just a second. All right. All right. So by the end of this session, today, tomorrow, what we are going to learn about is that, what is the background evolution of R, then, installation of R, basic operations using R, data structures, what we see, logical and relational operations, conditional statements, loops, functions, apply family. See, R is like another programming languages, right? And to do any task, to perform any process, you need all these basic things. You need to know how if else works, how looping work, what are the data structures, and all that. So let's get it started. So R is also known as a statistical software. It's more of a statistical software rather than a programming languages, because as we know, data sciences consist of statistics, mathematics, data analysis, then applying the algorithms and all. So R is a core statistical software. You can do very sophisticated machine learning programming using R. You can do deep learning. There are wide range of use of R. Okay, It is very easy to pick up for beginners and very sophisticated enough to perform highly advanced data analysis. Let's spend a minute on the background of our programming language. It was, it is like it ranks ninth in the TOP index, a measure of popularity of popular programming languages. R is an implementation of S programming language. So back in 1976, when S was created, right? So it's a very old language. You can see here, it was invented in 1976. So it's a very old language. But why it is gaining momentum now? Because it has become very easy to, easy and cheap, right, to process big data. There is there are a lot of open source tools which are there to process and to store the data at very cheap rate, right? So that's why it is gaining popularity now. It was created by Ross Iaka and Robert Gentleman at the University of Auckland, New Zealand, and it is developed by the R development core team, right? Okay, then why R? Definitely, it has very extensive tools, more richer and extensive tools. There are, as I said, there is about 5,000 libraries. There are about 5,000 libraries for data analytics itself. There are numerous of packages, functions. So what you have to do is you don't have to reinvent the wheel every time. You can go ahead and look for your function or package to use, and then you can just apply to solve your complex task. Okay, it's open source, it's free. What does that mean? It means that you don't need you don't need to buy any license, or you don't need to buy a server or anything like that. You can install on your computer and just start using it. It is very easily integrated with databases, big data like Hadoop, Spark. There is like Spark R is available. Then very easy integration with SQL. So these are few advantages of R, that why it is getting very popular. Okay. Now let's come to the installation of R and R Studio. So basically, what is R Studio? R Studio is like, you guys have been using Java, coding on Java or anything. You must have an IDE for that, right? Like integrated development environment. So R Studio is also like that. Okay. So you have to write a script, or you have to keep the track of environment variables. You have to see which packages are available. So R Studio is there. R Studio is there to help you. Okay. So what are the steps involved in installation? You have to install R first. You have to download the package relevant to your system from the CRAN website. It's the website I have also mentioned here. Okay. You can go to this website, and as per your system, you can install R. So first step is to install R. There is nothing, no environment variable you have to set or nothing like that. Okay. Then after installing R, you need to install R Studio. So R Studio, as I said, it's a tool to maintain the R, right? So let me show you. Let me show you how it looks. So this is R Studio. Can you see my screen, right? R Studio. Okay. So okay. So there are 4 windows, right? The leftmost, in which the cursor is blinking right now, it's a place where you can write your code. Okay. Let me show you first how the R looks like. Okay. Simply R when you the console. So that's how R looks like. Okay. You can write your commands here like that, and you can see the results. But then that's the main problem, that you cannot write a script, right? You cannot perform a big task, and you cannot keep track of your environment variables and all that. So that's where the R Studio is useful. Okay. This is the place where you write your script. You can write any number of lines. You can perform the task again and again, everything. This is a console. Below that, there's a console which will display the results, which will display what you are working on and all that. Now this window, right, the upper right, it's there to keep the track of your variables you will create. So suppose you create like let me show you. Um, so this one. X5, right? So X got the value of 5. So that's the purpose of it. So whatever you do operations over here, you can keep track of variables over here. Okay. Below that, this is very useful. You can see the packages. Let me refresh it. So you can see all the packages over here. I don't know why it is not displaying right now, but let me try. Yeah, okay, it's coming up. So just a second. So you can see these packages, right? Wide range of packages. Wide range of. So these are packages. Inside that, there are a lot of functions, right? So for example, for graphics, right? For graphics, you have. Okay, just a second. So you can't see that?
Yeah, he can see that.
No.
No, I can see that, but it is very slow.
Okay, just 1 second. So ggplot2, right? For example, this is very helpful. This will help. This is a huge library which will help you in data visualization, in doing data visualization tasks using the grammar of graphics. Okay, we will discuss this. I think that's tomorrow the session for data visualization only. So this is a quick introduction to R, the installation of R and R Studio and everything. So let's get moving. Let's get moving to the R programming language itself. So basic operations, right? Basic arithmetic operations. So simply you can do addition. So 8 plus 5 is 13. So you can see in the console, right? The result is in the console. It's 30. Can you clearly see it, Sachin?
Not much.
Not much.
I told him to zoom.
Right. Okay. Then you have subtraction, multiplication, division.
We have to zoom it.
You have to zoom it.
We have to zoom it. He will not zoom it.
Okay. Just a second.
Option. Is that the option?
1 second.
Camera का zoom.
Zoom. If I have to zoom on that particular part, how I would do that?
इसको साइड करिए इस बार को. ऐसे करिए. स्पेस दबा के.
Zoom in. No, see?
Yeah. Just hold on.
Just a second, guys.
Yeah.
So it's better now?
It's better, way better.
Okay. So division, then, parenthesis, the same board mass rule applies over here also. So 2 plus 2, 2 plus 3, 5 plus 5. Then for calculating remainder, you can use double percentile. So it will give you 1. For the exponent, 3 to the power 5, right? So these are some, general basic operations, like how you do it. Relational operators. So 8 is greater than 7. What should it return? It will return me true, right? So true. 8 is greater than is equal to 8. True. 8 is less than 7. False. True. Right? False. There are some now. There are a lot of built-in functions in R, right? Which we have to, as I've discussed, it's there in packages. So square of 2, 1.414, right? Exponential of 3, sine, cos, right? Now this is very important, help. So if you know any function and you know how to use it, how to apply in the programming, you can go to the help, right? Help and log. So it will very good documentation, very fine documentation. You don't have to go anywhere. So it's a huge and it will give you very detailed with examples that how to use any function. Okay, so this is inbuilt in R. You don't have to go anywhere. Okay. Operators and functions can work within a function just like any other programming languages you can use like this. Okay. Now you have to store variable, right? You have to store values somewhere. So to create a variable. Now you can see a big difference over here that in any programming language you have to define the data type, right? Whether it's an integer or a character or a double, float, whatever. So you have to tell that okay, integer x is equal to 5. But in R you don't have to do that. R itself will decide, okay, this is 5. Okay, I will give it a numeric. I'll tell you that how to find that, which data type is assigned, and then print x, simply x. Okay, y is equal to 6, y, and then you can apply all the addition, subtraction, and relational operators using variable. So this will return me false, definitely true. Cars, scooters, then addition of two variables, right? Let me know if I'm going fast or you guys have any questions. Okay. Now variable name, correct variable name. So there should be a naming convention, to define any variable. So current 007. I mean that doesn't. I mean, okay. I mean, syntactically that's correct, but doesn't make any sense. But anyways, R will accept this 007 current. So it should not be starting with the numeric variable. So that will give me error. Okay. Now R is case sensitive. So for example, Rahul. So this is different variable, this is different variable, and this is different variable. So you can see there are 3 variables of the same name are created. Rahul. Just because it's case sensitive, it is taking it differently. Okay. So we have talked about numeric variables, right? Now the another data type in R is logical or Boolean values. It says true, false. Okay. True is equal to false. So basically it will return me false, right? So what is exactly true or false? What it does behind the scene? So true is greater than false. I mean, how R will decide that true is greater than false, or true is less than false. So true has a value 1, okay, and false has a value 0. So internally it runs that way. Okay, so that's why 1 is greater than 0, and that's why it is returning true. Okay. Now, can mathematical operations be applied on strings? So let's try this. Okay, so what I've done is I will assign 1 to my, and then apples, my plus apples is totally fine. It will return me 3, right? Now Rahul, okay, x, and just observe here I have put it in double quotation. So it's a string, it's a character, a class of my. This will tell me which class the data type belongs to. Which class my is of which data type. Okay, so numeric, it's a numeric because my is, you can see here 1. So class of my is numeric. Type of my is double. By default it takes double. I know it's an integer, but by default it takes double. We can convert it always to the integer. I'll show you that in a minute. Class of x. So x is Rahul, right? X is Rahul right here. So class of x is character. Type of x is again character. Now y, true. So let's check the class of y. It's logical. Type of y, again logical, right? So these are the 3 data types: integer, numeric, character, and logical, right? And you have to play with these 3 in entire R. But there is no on you. There is no liability on you to define the data type, as R will take it automatically. Okay. Let's see this one. So this will class of 5.325. So it tells me it's a numeric, right? A type of apple, character. Type of this, double. Class of 8 is equal to 6. So 8 is equal to 6. This is a relational operator. So what it will return? It will return me a logical value, right? It will return me false because 8 is not equal to 6. So it will return me false. So what class it should return? It should return logical, right? So logical. So this is all about basic operations in R using different data types and all. Now let's go to the data structures. There are different data structures in R which enables you to store the data you want. Okay, we'll talk about them in detail. Okay, and we'll talk about the various operations which we can do using different data structures. Okay, so let me first clear the environment so that we don't get confused. So what I'll do is to clear the environment, rm list is equal to ls. Okay, so this will clear the global environment. Okay, so once you are done with your analysis, once you are done and you need to do a fresh start, you can apply this and get the environment clear and have a fresh start. Okay. Now vectors is the foremost important, very important, I can say very important data structure in R. Okay, it's a single dimension. Okay, so you cannot have a tabular form of it, but it's a single dimension. So suppose you want to store a marks obtained in in your programming language class, okay, in your college. So you can use that vector. You can create a vector, and then what are the uses of it? I'll tell you. Just be patient. So I'll tell you the usage of it. But let's first discuss how it is created. So let's suppose I want to store an age, okay, of all the people attending this class. I mean, I'm just taking hypothetical numbers. I know 61 year age of 61-year person wouldn't attend this class, and even 53 is okay. So, but this is the hypothetical numbers. So I'm trying to store these values, okay, in a vector. So I created a vector called age. Okay, so age is the name of the vector. Then this is the assignment operator, right? This is the assignment operator. This is C. C stands for combine. So basically, if you will, I mean, it's a syntax, right? So to combine all these values into one vector. So 23, 43, and then the number of values. Okay. So the vector is created. So you can see here, age in the environment section, you can see age, it's a numeric vector. It says num numeric. It tells me that values 1 to 10, those are the indexes, right? Like in array, you do that. So 1 to 10. So that means there are 10 values in this vector. Okay. And the index is 1 to 10. It's not from 0. So be careful. In R, the indexing starts from 1, not from 0. Okay, so that's age. Now let's display this vector. So it will display you 23, 43, 53, 24, 61, 35, 36, all of the numbers. Okay, now let's see. Let's create another vector. Create 9, 10, my number. Let's display this. Let's check the class, what class it belongs to. So it's a numeric. It's a numeric vector, so that's why it says numeric. Now, there are 3 different data types I have put in this. False, which means logical, then character, then 3. So what it will return me? What it will get converted to, right? Because it cannot have all of them as a data type, right? So let's see the class, character. So what happens is that's where it comes the priority, right? Now, the lowest priority which one got? Logical. So logical and numeric. If you put in one logical and numeric, then what you will get? Then what you will get? Then what you get? Can anybody tell me that why it returned character? Can anybody tell me?
comments.
Okay. Can anybody put the comments like why it returned character? All right. So see, basically, no problem. I'll tell you. What happens is the priority is of the highest priority character will get. Okay. So and the second priority is of numeric, and the third priority is logical. So let's see further. You will get to know. Now the second one is why there is a numeric value and there is a character. So let's see what it will return. It should return character, right? So it return character because it has the highest priority. Now, this type of conversion is called coercion. You have seen that in other programming languages, right? Where you in Java and all, where character the integer get converted to character and all sort of that. Okay. So any questions so far? You guys are able to get it, or am I going too fast, or am I going slow, or is it too basic? So any input will be great, guys. I mean, any input, so that I can move comfortably. I can move forward. Okay, I will wait for a couple of minutes. All right. So I assume that everybody is getting everything, and there is no problem in the session, and you are understanding and hopefully enjoying it. Okay. Now, operations. What all operations we can apply on vector? How to access the vector elements and all. We'll learn this in this section. Okay. So let's create a vector. My vector C of 3, 8, 9, 10, and let me just let's just display here my vector 3, 8, 9, 10. Right. Now I want to access the third element of this vector, which it is 9. So I want to just type 9 on the screen. So what should I say? My vector in the square brackets 3. So as I said, indexing starts from 1. So 1, 2, 3. So that will give me 9. Right? 9. Now there is another way. Can you see this? 2 colon 4. So this is a sequence, right? So basically, this will what it will do 2, 3, 4. So 2, 3, 4. All the elements it will display. So 8, 9, 10. You see what I'm saying? Got it? Index in R starts from R. Now suppose you want to remove elements, right? For example, there are 4 elements and you want to remove the third element. So all you have to do is my vector and square bracket and mention the index of that particular variable for that particular value, and see 9 is gone. So 3, 8, 10. It just means, it's not removing from the vector, but it is just for not printing that particular element. Okay, it has nothing to do with the original value of the vector. Okay, now let's do different operations on vectors. Okay, so my vector 1. So this is a 1 vector, this is another vector. Now, what happens when we do the addition, right? So addition will be like, so first element will get added to the first element of the second vector, and the second vector will be third to second, third to third, fourth to fourth. Right. So let's do this. Added vector. So you can see 3, 7, 11, 15. You can check. Right. 1 plus 2, 3, 3 plus 4, 7, 5 plus 6, 11, 7 plus 8, 15. Quite easy. Okay. Now, how to apply functions on vectors? So similar way, you can do the subtraction, you can do the relational operators, and all this on vectors. Now, how to apply functions? So suppose you want to find the minimum value, right, of this vector. So what it should return? Minimum of my vector 1, it should return 1. So 1, right? Similarly, you can do the max. It returns me 7. So now you want to sort in the decreasing order. So let's see. So suppose I want to see how to use the sort function. So let's see here. Question mark sort. That's another way. There is another way. Is the first one I showed you, help of sort. So this way you can see here, right? How to sort, how to use the sort function. So sort x decreasing is equal to false, right? That's the usage. Right. So by default, it does in ascending order. Okay. So just a second, where it is gone. Okay. So suppose I have done is 3, 1, 5, 7. Right. This. And then sort of my vector 1. So 1, 3, 5, 7, right? It has sorted in the ascending order. That's by default. Now, when you want to do it in ascending order, you have to mention this parameter, decreasing is equal to true. 7, 5, 3, 1. Okay. So that's a sort function. So this is the way you can apply the functions on the vectors, right? Now, what about any? Right? If you have worked in SQL, right? SQL language or databases, DBMS, there is a concept of null values, right? So null is different, and zero or vacuum, zero or garbage value is different, and null is different. So there is a special treatment for the null values, right? So similarly, in R also we have a special treatment for the null values. It cannot be treated as zero or or any of the garbage value. So we have to deal with, because when we receive the raw data from the user, it has a lot of garbage values. There's a lot of null values. That's the reality. So you have to spend quite a good amount of time in dealing with null values, and how to replace them, or how to replace them intelligently actually, so that your model should not be corrupted. Okay. So let's see how R handles it. So that's a my vector. Okay, I have two null values, right? So is dot na is the function which will tell me whether the value is null or not. Okay, so can you see that? Okay.
I can see that. For zooming.
Okay, up ज़्यादा करूँगा तो then there will be a problem.
No worries.
Is dot na will tell me whether the value is null or not. Okay, so let's do this. So false, 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 true, false, right? So basically it returns with a logical value whether this one is null or not. So for first one it is false, then false, then false, then true, then false, then true. Okay. Now suppose I want to find out how many null values exist in my data set. Okay, for example, in this my vector itself, right? So remember I told you true holds the value 1 and false holds the value 0. So if I will add it, okay, if I will add them, I'll apply the sum function on this, on the top of this is dot na, right? Let's do this. 2. So that returns me the number of values which will values which are na in the data set. Okay. This way you can find out that what is the percentage of basically null values in your data set, right? If it exceeds 10%, I mean, it depends on the data size actually. If you have like millions of rows, and if you have few hundred rows are null, or few hundred columns values are null, then it's okay. Okay, we can skip that. But if you have small data size like 10,000 rows or 20,000 rows, and few hundred rows are missing, then that's a matter of concern, and you have to talk to user that how to deal with it, whether replace it with the average value for that particular column, or maybe not available or something like that. So that's how you do that, and that's a part of exploratory data analysis, which we call in the data science language exploratory data analysis. So when we explore the data, when we try to explore the data, understand the data, we do all this kind of analysis. Okay, now let's talk about factors. Okay, so I have something very interesting actually, which I'll give you show you by example that how to do that. Okay, so let me okay, lead dot Bollywood dot CSV Bollywood CSV string as factors is equal to false. Right, so let me so there is a file Bollywood CSV. Okay, it has a data. So I'm using this read.csv. It's a function in R to read the CSV file. Okay, so don't go into the details of this. Just try to understand what I'm trying to show. Let's open this data frame, and it has the details about the movie released last year in 2016. Okay, so it has all kind of data like movie name, then lead, who's the lead role, then release date, opening collection, weekend collection, total collection, verdict, whether it's a hit, flop, average, right? So now I want to tell you the importance of factor. There's a second, I mean, we are going to talk about second data structure, which is called factor. And I'm going to tell you first the application of factor, and then we will go into details how it is created and all that. So let's see the application of verdict. So let's first check the structure of this Bollywood data frame. Okay. So this will tell me that this is a data frame. There are 61 observations of 8 variables and all that. Now the movie name. It's the important thing to note here is the first is movie name, movie column. Then it tells me the data type it holds, which is character. Then again lead, which is character. Release date is character. I mean, we have to convert it to date, but that's another part. Okay. Collection, then various collections are termed as numeric. And then we have a verdict, which is character. Okay, super hit, flop, average, and this thing. So now let's try to understand. Can anybody tell me like what is categorical variable and what are continuous variable or numeric variables? Can anybody tell me like what is categorical variable? You can type in the comment section. What is categorical variable? We will have few minutes for questions, Swati, so I'll answer you in that. Okay. Anybody? Categorical variable? So basically categorical variable, by the name itself, it says it defines the category. Okay. So it defines the category, which category you fall into. For example, gender. So there are two categories, right? Male, female. Then, marital status, like married, single, divorced, right? Widow. So these are different categories. So there are limited variables. There are limited values for that particular variable, right? So similarly here, I mean, and what is continuous variable? Any numeric variable. So it can have any value like 34.36, 48.75, 10.29. So any value. So that has a infinite set of values. So that's a continuous variable, right? And categorical variable, as I said, when you have limited categories. So when you have limited categories into your data set, that kind of variable in your data set, then you define them as a factor. Okay. Now, what is the difference? How it will make difference? So let's try to understand this. Let's type summary of Bollywood. Okay. So it gives me different statistics for Bollywood data set, like opening collection, what is the minimum value, first quantile, median, mean, third quantile, maximum value. Similarly for all this, right? And for verdict, for character columns, it is like of no use, right? Length is 61, class character mode. So this is useful for numeric variables, right? Now I want to see how many movies are hit, how many movies are flop, how many movies are average, like this, right? So what I can do here is I can convert that to a factor. So what I'll do is Bollywood dollar verdict, right? And start factor Bollywood dollar verdict. So I'm applying the formula. I'm applying the type conversion, coercion, you can say, to verdict column. I'm converting it to factor. Okay. Done. Now let's check the structure again of Bollywood. That gives me factor with 4 levels. So average, flop, super hit, and hit. There are 4 levels. So there are 4 categories in this thing. Now when I type summary of Bollywood, you can see here in the verdict itself, there are 17 movies which average, then there are 30 movies that are flopped, 7 hit movies and 7 super hit movies, right? So this is an important statistic. This is an important insight which gives me that, okay, there are a lot of flop movies in this year. So, let's try to make movies better experience for our viewers, and, let's try to decrease this number and increase hit and super hit. Or you can do the analysis why, which kind of films got flop, right? Which kind of movies got flop. And so that gives me questions, right? And this is the actual role of data scientists, that you have to derive the questions out of the data. Sometimes user also don't know that what he is expecting, so he just give you the data, and then you have to tell him what is the problem and what can be the solution, right? So that's factor. That's the importance of factor. Now let's go into see how to create them and all. So there is a function factor for this. So suppose I've created the vector heights, medium, short, tall, medium, right? There are different categories for height. So then I have created factor heights, and there is a function factor I applied to this vector heights. Okay. So sorry, I have to run this one. Yeah. Factor heights factor. So now you can see that levels, it defines me the level, medium, short, and tall. So there are 3 categories into the heights, and this one now. Summary of factor height. So there are 3 people who are medium. You can see in the vector, there are 3 medium, then there are 2 shorts and 1 tall guy. So it gives me the numbers as I shown you in the Bollywood data frame, that how to do that. So dice, right? Dice can, suppose you played dice 30 times, right? And you want to see the pattern, right? How many numbers came like the most of the time, right? So you can check the frequency of the particular number, like 2 appears this many times, 3 appears this. So you have taken the data of, suppose n number of dice you played. Okay. So let's run this one. And then summary. So you can see the number 2 came 5 times, or number 5 came 5 times, and 1 came only 2 times, and 4 came 2 times, right? So when next time you want to play a bet, or you want to gamble, you can use this statistic, right? So that actually casino works on this principle. Casino works on the probability, right? It's the casino who always wins, and why they wins? Because they know how to use the probability, and how to um, win. Okay. Any questions so far? Specific categories are allowed. What does that mean, Omkar Agrawalji? Can they speak or not?
No, they can't. They can't. They can only speak.
Okay, so we'll open this session actually at the end. Uh, uh So, who told you?
Teaching us. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think there are only 10 minutes remaining for this session, and there are a lot of things to be covered, but it's too short. Okay, so maybe I'll try to cover this in tomorrow's session. So I'll open this now for question and answers. Okay. Um, it will be open, right?
इसमें सारे कुछ पूछेगा या फिर कुछ
I don't know.
अगरवाल ने कहा था डिस्कशन
Tomorrow at same time, Abhishek. It's 4 p.m. tomorrow. Okay, I got it, Omkar. I mean, you were trying to say, okay, okay.
क्वेश्चन आ रहे हैं पे आंसर दे
कहाँ आ रहे हैं?
अनिरुद्ध अनिरुद्ध का जाना है
Okay, thank you, Omkar.
हाँ जी राइट में
I'll wait for another 5 minutes for questions, or else we'll continue tomorrow. We'll go in at much faster rate, so we can cover good content tomorrow. Hopefully, and it will be more of a data visualization tomorrow. So we'll be using ggplot, and I'll show you the the capabilities, the power of R, and it at very ease. Actually, it's very easy to learn and to do programming. So that's the main powerful power of R, and we'll cover that tomorrow. Okay. Do we need basic knowledge to learn R? No, you don't need any. I mean, any programming background will be good, but you don't need as such, right? You don't need. All you need is, I mean, start doing analysis, start thinking about analytics, and then that's it. It's just a programming language. It's just a language. So, okay.
Swati, it was a good session. Can you answer my question? It was a good session. Swati answered. Yes.
All right, guys. If you don't have any questions, I'm signing off, and we will continue tomorrow at 4 p.m. All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
So guys, hope this was the amazing session by Mr. Rahul. And tomorrow it will be going to be more practical with more insights about the R language. So it will be great to see you tomorrow again on this same. So we are signing off right now. Thanks.